I stayed out on the balcony for quite a bit. Quite a while. Quite a while. Works better. Yes, something better to put in my journal. I thought of the stories I had heard. The stories that I had read. The Yeti. So many stories. Well, I suppose I should write down what I know about Yeti. They have feet that point backwards, scream like a banshee, and are invisible. If they're invisible, how can anyone see a Yeti? No one has Yeti. Scratch that terrible, terrible joke out of my journal. The first report of these Himalayan ape men dates back to 1832. A climber by the name of B.H. Hodgson of Nepal witnessed a tall beast covered in dark hair walking on 2 feet. A tall beast walking on 2 feet. A bear does seem possible, but I do not believe they can walk on their hind legs for long periods of time. At the turn of the century, more sightings occurred as more adventurers made it their mission to conquer the Himalayas. In the 1950s, that was when the sightings really had taken off. There were many of them. It was Eric Shipton who photographed strange footprints on Everest in 1951. Other expeditions returned with hair and fecal samples, but nothing conclusive. The tribes of the area consider the Yeti a divine being, and they do not appreciate the cynics who question its existence, nor those who simplify the sightings as more than rare Himalayan wildlife. A famous detractor is Reinhold Messner, who claims to have killed a Yeti, wrote a book about his experience, and said that the Yeti is actually the Himalayan brown bear. But the fact is that, well, as I've stated, bears can't walk on their hind legs for long periods of time. It is strange. What is it? What is the Yeti? I honestly wonder why the myth that a ferocious primate exists continues. Are we really not content with the chimpanzee? Vicious, cannibalistic creatures. They'd rip off your arm and beat you to death with it. The rubber tappers of Borneo fear the ut-ut. According to them, the ut-ut is a long-legged ape who cuts off your head when you sleep. Don't sleep in the forest or the ut-ut will get you. Perhaps I should go to Borneo next. In Zaire, the people fear the wild man of the woods, the Pongo. Yes, the Pongo. Strange that name has become the scientific name of the orangutan and a popular name for dogs. They say that the Pongo can bring down an elephant with a single blow. Frightening. Perhaps I should go to Zaire next instead. And of course, here in the snowy Himalayas, you have the Yeti, or the abominable snowman. Many have searched for it, but alas, only footprints have been discovered. And then we get into the subject of living relics. You can see many of them under the sea, but what about finding a living relic on the land? These ape men are an example that seem to cross international boundaries. The Americas, Afro-Eurasia, Australia. There is no short supply of them. The Yeti may be a divine being, but it's not the most it's not the most agreeable of creatures. Stories have been told of it killing yaks for food. And that was the moment I saw something down in the darkness. What was it? I'll tell you. I don't know. I could barely see. Man or monster? I don't know. I stood there on the balcony looking down. It just seemed to vanish. Yes, vanish. And then was my mind brought once again to the subject of the Yeti. According to native folklore, the man who is not a man has the ability to disappear at will. Had I seen the Yeti and it had disappeared at will? That is certainly an interesting question. I'm not sure what I saw exactly. Not sure if I saw anything. Could have just been the darkness. Sometimes the darkness plays tricks. Still, I'm not exactly sure what I saw. Could have been anything. But what was the question? Could it have been the Yeti? It is possible. But yet, who could I have spoken to who actually saw a Yeti? I eventually went to consult with the monks. They spoke of a hermit who claimed to have seen one. Not as much seen as was chasing, pursuing, whichever word would best suit what happened. The hermit was not exactly happy to have encountered the Yeti. I guess I had someone to go to. Someone to question. I could only wonder what information I'd get. Hopefully it wouldn't be a wild goose chase.